Cool. Well, I'm super excited to be doing a live gameplay review with you, so that'll be good. I think these are like super helpful because we can like chat, while we're going through it, and you can ask me any questions you have live that I haven't. Maybe like you're confused still or something, so you can get like real-time answers and everything. So that's always good. And I'm also super excited because um I I like doing all of the reviews and everything, but I especially like when it's a rank that's has like more opportunities to give some advice because I feel like sometimes the ones where like I'll sometimes have people who are like GM or masters do it, and I feel like they're good, but I feel like I always leave being like, okay, here's like one or two tips, like max. Whereas this
Mhm.
one, even though it's a winning game, like you mentioned in our chat, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of good tips. It'll be like juicy. So
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
excited.
excited.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, let me get started. But yeah, for this one, you just said, I just want to be able to stay in plat and climb up. I can barely stay out of gold. So let me share my screen. Cool.
Mine's the cucumber one. I like just changed my battle tag, so.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, I was about to ask you because I looked at the forum and I was like, wait, who is this? Like, which one is it? But I figured we'd just chat now. Okay, cool. So, and I just want to check, can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Wait, even better. Okay. So, yeah, let's dive in. And yeah, so you guys have actually like an incredible team comp. Um, I would say this is like maybe the ideal team comp for Mercy because you've got Sigma as your tank, who I personally think is like the number one tank to go with Mercy because he's like a poke tank. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause it for a second. Um, he's like, yeah, a really great poke tank. You can kind of pocket him when you have nothing going on, and he does a good job of like surviving, so he doesn't need as much burst healing as like other tanks, which is good for Mercy. And then
Yeah.
you've got Sojourn. She's probably gonna be your like primary beam target, right? Because she's just like really good with Mercy overall, and you can sit with her when nothing's going on, and just she'll get picks and stuff like that. So she's good. You got Kiri with Bastion, which this combo is really good. You could swap out Kiri for something like Baptiste, and it would also be really good with this whole team comp. And it's good because a lot of the time Bastion needs just like invulnerability while he's in his like turret form. And so you can also pocket that as Mercy. So you've got a whole really good combo here. So I'm happy, like the team comp's looking good. Um so if I were you, like just even before the game starts, when we're talking like game plan, like I would be sitting with Sojourn and then swap off her when Bastion goes into his turret form, and then you can just swap back and obviously make sure you're healing and everything. So that's kind of how I would be thinking about it. Any thoughts there?
So I'm like in a group with the two DPS. So yeah, I was like trying to, I don't know, split my attention between the both of them as like evenly as possible, I guess.
Makes sense. Okay, sounds good. Cool. Okay, well let's dive in. So in general, this map, typically where I'll start standing, a little bit depends on where everyone else is a little, but a lot of the time your team's gonna want to hold this high ground, where your Bastion is right now. And so one good spot you can stand, if you know the other person's gonna back up, like say they're standing, you can see my cursor, right?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. If they're standing like on this edge, like if they're standing kind of like right here and they can reasonably back up a little bit, you can kind of stand in here and pocket them. But typically, it's really nice when the DPS stands like on this edge right here, where like if just imagine you're like the DPS. Like if they stand right here, it's really nice because you can actually pocket them safely behind the wall here. And in case they die, you can also go up and like res them right here. So that's typically where I'll stand. And the reason is um the enemy team is gonna have a lot easier chance of like shooting you versus if you imagine if the DPS is standing on this edge right here, he still has like a good line of sight to the enemy, but they can't see the mercy. So it's really good for you and your ally so that you can get the res in case they die and stuff. So typically that's what I'll do. And then you can also go up here. I'll a lot of the time start off by just pocketing the DPS right here. I would maybe recommend that. A big thing on like Mercy in general is being proactive and like I think keeping in mind that like her kit just fundamentally is like worse than everyone else's, so you kind of have to like work overtime to get value. So what my whole point about that, and then we can get started here, is just that typically you'll want to start off by like or just like at any point in the game, really look for times where you can get your damage amp, where you can like enable your team. So you got to be like on the ball like all the time, like it's like game time constantly for Mercy. So one good instance is I know the game literally just started, but if you want to like enable your sojourn, prevent a death potentially, like if she gets I actually don't know how much health she has. Does she have 250? Oh, 225. Okay. I was gonna say if she gets like headshot by Hanzo, she might live. Actually, she wouldn't. But like you can get ready to res her or whatever already. So I would push up here, um, and be really proactive about damage boosting this. You can swap over to Sigma when he's doing that. It might help you. So the TLDRs, it might help you get a pick early, and it might prevent a death. And you want to be constantly looking for moments like this where no matter who it is, like even if it was just your Kiriko here and everyone else was backed up, you can like damage boost the Kiri. So that's just kind of my recommendation. You'll probably see me, depending on how this goes, but multiple times saying like, yeah, make sure you push up, push up, push up. So this is a good way right when the game starts to do that. And yeah, always just feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. Um, okay. So here we are. Oh, nice. Oh, you do. Perfect, perfect. So right here, I'm gonna pause it already. Right here, you have to be really, really careful. Let me just show you what immediately made me pause. So right here, you will see when I play this map on stream, I actually very frequently will like come over here a little bit. Depending on where they're standing. Like if they're standing right here by the car, sometimes it's kind of hard to uh enable them around this corner, and you'll have to from like this side. Ideally, you want to stand on this side though, because this is like a map specific tip. Ideally, you want to stand on this side because uh it's like the downside of standing over here is you have to fly across in front of their vision, right? So no matter really what happens, very very rarely are you gonna actually retreat like up these stairs with your team. Usually, like they're gonna um your group here will start to move backwards, like towards the point over here, and as a result, you will have to like transition after them, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will still sometimes do this a little bit partially just because I've like my brain is not 100% on like I'm chatting with my chat and whatever, but sometimes I will still go over here if for example they're like pushing up really far here and I don't want to peek behind them because like I might get shot in the head with a Hanzo arrow. Like sometimes it actually kind of is a little safer to stand here depending on what's happening. But you really have to keep in mind if you're gonna stand here, and this is kind of map specific, kind of like true all the time for Mercy. But you really have to be careful about what the enemy is seeing when you transition out of that position. And so let me show you exactly what I'm talking about by showing you the enemy team's perspective. Okay. So right here, we do like a really telegraphed, not behind the shield super jump, and it makes me really nervous because if they have like hog hook right here. Like if he walks up a little further, he can hook you. If they have a Widowmaker, she can just like headshot you right now because you are not behind the shield fully. And so yeah, depending on just like what their rollout is, like we don't know what heroes they have. If they have Hanzo, yeah, like Hog is like a really big concern here. You don't want to get hooked. This could be pretty disastrous, like if he just pushes through and grabs you right now. So I would be really, really mindful about think like try to think about, and this is complicated, right? Like not everyone like this takes time. This took take me like years and years to get good at. But you have to not only think about your position relative to your team, but also your position relative to the enemy team. And I say this a lot on my stream, but like there's two rules that need to be true. Like for you to be in a good position, typically. One is like you need to be in a spot where you can access your team. So obviously right here you're able to access your whole team, right? But the problem is you're giving away really, really easy access to the enemy team in case they want to get you. So typically, I would recommend instead of doing like a super jump right here in front of the in front of the choke, I would just do like a really easy GA over here and keep it horizontal behind your team and just do it quick. Because then you're not going to be in their line of sight as much. You can stay behind the shield and you position to a spot, like you reposition to a spot where you are actually covered by natural cover. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, okay, we can keep watching. But like, sorry, just really quick. This is just a really good example. He does go for a hook, and you are peeking the enemy team. So, like, there is actually a non-zero chance that like if he throws this right, it would have it like could have hit you, and you could have died. Like
Yeah.
right, or did I miss it? Hold on. But you get what I mean. But I just want to show because I think the easiest way to learn is from like mistakes. So right here, this hook, I don't know if it actually is coming for you. Let me see. Who is he throwing it at? Oh, he might be throwing it at Bastion. Let's see. But yeah, the easiest way to learn is from a real life example. Oh, he threw it at the tank. But you see how it we've done this like 3 times now, sorry, but it like could have gone for you. So wanna like
Yeah.
pretty much give them no opportunities to like get that. So yeah, that's just my first thought. Okay, right here, I would also say I think you hear it, but you don't I don't know if you couldn't find her or what happened, but right here, you hear your Kiri. Oh, wait, let me go back. She takes a Freya shot. Let's just listen again. You're gonna hear it on
Yeah,
like
I
your.
thought she was like up on the high ground still, and then I couldn't see her, so I was like, where did she go?
Yeah, all good. It's good that you are using your audio cues. Like, I feel a lot of people don't notice. So, this is good. You hear that, and I can hear you look around, or like I saw you look around for her. But right here, when you see that, you need to just like spin your screen a little more and check on her. So this is back to another like core tip of Mercy, which is like, and this I think cements like all the this is like sorry, more like the foundation for all of their tips, which is like on Mercy because she gets like you the reality is like on Mercy we're not like doing anything as difficult or complicated as anyone else in the game really, like it's just like kind of point and click. You get a benefit too, so on top of that of like she gets to do whatever she wants no matter if she's looking at the target or not. So we should make sure we're always like looking around a lot. So when you hear your ally, whoever it is, like take damage and you can't initially find them, but you know it's from something that's like scary. You can be the judge of like what that means exactly, but what I guess I'm saying is like it's not like Tracer just tickling your team across the map because then it's like, oh, okay, I know they took 1 damage. Like they would be like at the health bar you're at right now. See, like okay, I don't need to like freak out over that. But for example, something scary would be like Freya's. dart or whatever, because that brings them down to half HP. If you see that go by on your screen and hit someone behind you, and you hear the audio cue for it, which is something to keep developing, like thinking about what did I hear just go by? Like, did that hit them? Like, blah, 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 thinking about stuff like that. You should definitely like make sure you look around a lot. It's gonna make everything easier. So in the reality of like what should have happened here is we should have turned and then like healed the Curie to full and then turned back.
Mhm.
Um, Probably what I would have done just to show you like the cadence really quick is like I hear the Curie takes damage, like I turn, put my beam on her, and actually turn back already to check on my Bastion because I want to watch his health. And this is where you gotta like also juggle who needs it more, right? Like who needs help more. So
Mhm.
here, like Curie is lower, right? Like relatively, she's only at like half HP. So you can put the beam on and it's gonna start going up. And then at some point, like she doesn't have to get to full. I would probably swap this back to Bastion. Like my gut thing is like I'll just show you exactly what I do. I'd go turn, beam on, look back, and then probably swap it back pretty quickly to Bastion right here because he is so exposed to the enemy team, right? Like he has a higher danger threat than Kiri, even though Kiri's health is relatively lower. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I know this is maybe a lot, or like how do I say? Maybe this is easy to process for everyone, like you, me, viewers, whatever. Like in the moment when we just zoom out and pause it like this, but obviously the game is happening in like real time and you have to make like split-second decisions. So, just in general, I think it's helpful to like do some sort of mental calculus and you just get better at this like the more you play, the more you think about it of like relative health plus like proximity to danger or like who's going to get basically like screwed over next by the enemy team based on like exposure and like stuff like that. So like your two people you have to decide between healing are like Kiri, who's maybe lower, but in a safe spot, I would say, or like the Bastion, who's currently like pretty high health, but is
Mhm.
actively and like about to potentially take a lot of damage. So yeah, I think the right response here is to just check on the Curie's health, give her the beam while you check, and then swap back over to Bastion to like make sure he gets out. Is how I would go about this. Um, and so that it all just starts with like making sure we're really swinging our camera to like get vision of them versus just doing a quick little like check. So that's my tip there. Any questions about that?
No, that makes a lot of sense because, like, well, like Kiriko can heal my Bastion while he's getting out of the danger, but she still needs to be like alive in order to do that. So I probably should pay more attention to her.
That's a really really good point. I didn't even think to say that, but that's a really really good point. A lot of the time, and I'm just piggybacking on what you're saying already, but a lot of the time you can actually unlock more healing for your team by keeping your other support healthy. And so this is a really good point of like here as well. Kiri is much more likely to be able to peek and like help our Bastion when she doesn't feel like if she peeks she might die, right? So
Yeah.
that's yeah, really really good point here too. Like you unlock her healing for Bastion by just topping her up a little bit. So she's like, "Okay, I feel a little better about going here. Like I'm not just going to get hit by one more of these darts and like die. I can take a little more damage here." So really really good point. I totally agree with you. Cool. Um yeah, let's keep watching. And I just want to say already, I really like your position here. You moved back into this kind of like the best place to stand as Mercy on this point is typically I would say like right here a lot of the time when your team's just like they haven't walked in yet. I'll typically play along this like edge right here because it totally cuts off the main like line of sight here, which is awesome. So you can just hug this wall and you still get access to like everyone over here. And when you do want to latch your beam on over here, you just kind of do like a quick little peek like that. You know what I mean? Or you
Yeah.
can like come over to this wall because and sorry, I know I'm like front loading a lot of info. You're like, "Oh my god, we've spent like less than 30 seconds." But I'm just front loading a lot of these tips and I'll probably like go back to it again if it happens, but um yeah, moving between like walls that cut like natural cover that cuts off the enemy team is super effective. So another really good place to stand, I find, if your team is pushed up a lot, is like hug this wall right here because for the enemy to get you, they would have to like really turn the corner on you. So they would have to either like really come around this corner, which in theory your Sigma should not be allowing, or you should be like noticing by him backing up a little and then like being able to transition like over here. Or they have to like round the corner here, which is very difficult to do because like they in theory they still cannot see you right here, right? See how like the wall is cut off? They like fully have to like come out to get you here, and when you do
Mhm.
that, your whole team is going to just like destroy them, right? Because it's like right in front of you. So a lot of the time, if you can cut the angle off too, it's really, really good. So that's why this spot here is also great because the only time they can really get you is if they peek out of this door, or like sometimes some heroes can like come up here and shoot at you, like Widow or Freya or something. But it really forces them to like peek your enemy team, which is super powerful on Mercy because um, you want to make the conditions like as hard as possible for them to access you. So yeah, anyways, this is just a small comment, but I like that you transitioned back here because it is using natural cover to cut off the enemy. Nice damage boost there. And just one small pause, and we'll keep going in just a sec. But one thing to keep in mind is like when you're playing against Hog, pretty much your like number one priority is to keep track of his hooks. And like I'm not perfect at this, no one's perfect at this, but your number one priority is like I do not want to get hooked by Hog because he pretty much if you get hooked by Hog, you just auto die. So, and that's like his one, I'm gonna call it like gimmick, honestly. It's like such a weird kit that Hog has, but his like one scary thing that he does is the hook. So a lot of the time you should just try to keep in mind that you should expect him to be like taking different angles and throwing hooks. And so right here, I think we're a little caught off guard by it. Did he? Yeah, he's gonna come through here because he's switching up the like lane that he's going through. And so I think we're a little caught off guard here and standing again a little out in the open where it makes it easier for him to hook you, right? This is actually going back to what I was just talking about. Um like imagine if you were like here for example, it is a well, I don't think at this stage it's good. Oops, sorry. To be here because of Genji, but I think it could be helpful to be standing like here. And the reason why is you are really cutting the angle off on Hog versus right here, he can already see you. Um and it's like easier for him. It's less risky for him to do this type of play versus if you stood over here and like tried to hug the wall as much as possible. Even like right here, he does have to peek a lot further. So right now, let's see what he sees. Okay, so he's about to see you here, right? See how he doesn't have to turn the corner fully, and he can kind of like non-committally throw a hook. Let's see if he does. Versus to see you fully, he has to like either come pretty far out, which gives you more reaction time, right? Because he's got to fully move over here, and you're gonna start seeing his big hunkalunka body like walking through, or he has to like walk forward more, right? See how like moving forward like creates that angle where he would be able to see you over here. So one or the other either exposes him to more risk or gives you more reaction time, right? On actually on both. Like if you see him here, he has to like, or actually no, sorry. This one's more reaction time because you get to see his body coming across, and then this one's more risk for him because he has to like fully peek your team more. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain, but it's in the details. So yeah, I think he tries to hook you here. Let's see. Yeah, he just misses it. But um and obviously I know on some level he can still do this if you're standing over here. It's just harder, right? And it's scarier for him to do that. So, yeah. Just stuff to keep in mind. And this is like I'm giving you map specific tips for this one, this map, Hollywood, but you can apply these on like any map where there's like natural cover. Typically there's like a template for like where you kind of want to stand on defense or offense as Mercy on each of these points, and it's just applying these principles and thinking through, you know, what seems like a good place to stand based on like where's the natural cover, like where are my teammates gonna stand, where might they try to attack me from the enemy team, and you can kind of figure out like where Sigma is pretty good for you when you're pushed up, and then when you're back like this, hugging this wall is pretty good because they also can't really, if they go on the high ground here, it's like harder for them to peek over. It's the same exact concept. Like if you stand here, he can shoot you from right here. Versus if you imagine you were by the trees, he actually has to like peek his face over, and then your team gets to like fuck him up, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, I'm monologuing, but any questions about that?
No, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. And I know maybe these, I don't know, on some level, I imagine these feel like small little things, but when you do all of these things in like addition, it like adds to more than one. You know what I mean? Like when you, or like more than the
Yeah.
sum. It's like, it's gonna create such, like you're gonna die so much less, you're gonna save so many more teammates, and that actually,
Mhm.
yeah, it like multiplies. So,
Well, she
um,
just has such like a simple kit, so it like would make sense that like simple things would have a big impact, you know?
yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, and yeah, I think the more you can stay alive, the more you can enable your team. All this is going towards like the key principles of like how you win in Overwatch, just in different ways. And if you want, I can like make it really clear and ladder it up. But like obviously, the less you die, less you get hooked or whatever. Like the more you're alive in the game. Like the more you heal your teammates who need help, the more they feel enabled. So it's just stuff like that. Nice, good job preventing that kill.
Oh gosh, this is the most unfortunate GA of my life.
No, that's okay. I see what happened. So right here, I see you try. Yeah, you're trying to go up to Sojourn, which I think is a good idea. Um, I think. Let me go back and see if this we should even be doing this. Let me look again.
What is that syzygy?
I was mostly trying to get back to where I was before after trying
Hmm?
to damage boost the Sigma.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. I guess I just looked at the wrong person to GA to.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. I honestly I make lots of mistakes when I'm GAing as well. I think the difference in important thing to keep in mind, well, I shouldn't say difference, but just like there's one thing to mess up your GA in a spot where it doesn't matter. So for example, I feel like
Mhm.
sometimes I'll like, and wait, I make mistakes like this as well, but I'm just saying in general, I'll frequently mess up my GA, but a lot of the time it's in times where I'm not in a high risk like spot. I'll just like, I don't know. Like I try to do a super jump with Bastion and I forget to, sorry, there's an ambulance going by. I don't know if you can hear it. Um I'll sometimes forget to like, I don't know, press the key on time or whatever, and I'll just end up like kind of sitting next to him right here. That's like not super a big deal. But I will say if you are over here, give yourself a little extra, what's the word? Like get like give on like how much error, like how much you can like mess it up and you still get your outcome, because yeah, obviously accidentally GAing this way and getting pulled like along the wall here is super not ideal because then you're like really out of position. So I would say here, give yourself some extra give yourself some extra like space, I guess. And you honestly might not want to go for something um on the Sojourn if it's like this type of angle. Like you might instead just like default back to some sort of simple movement like right here. The reason I say this is, yeah, I don't know if even flying to the Sojourn here right now is good. This is like a really weird thing. I don't know how Freya's back here right now. But yeah, the enemy Freya's back here. So honestly, and I don't know if you can see her. Let's rewatch this again. I forget exactly what happened here. So yeah, we know Freya's behind us. I think she just shot the Kiri. So I honestly think you might not even want to GA up to Sojourn right now. Like I think you might want to put your beam on Bastion. This is probably what I would have done. Put beam on Bastion because I hear people taking damage behind me, and just honestly like pulling myself like over to the Kiri. Like I might do a little quick GA like Bastion to Kiri and then like hide in this room with her for a second, heal her up, and then I can peek out again and maybe fly up to Sojourn if she needs it, that sort of thing. But this all goes back to the core principles we're talking about. So it's essentially like I don't want to give access to myself to the enemy team. And the based on the current positioning here, the easiest way I can access my team and help people who need help while protecting myself, I actually think is just backing up and giving a little space here. Because we need to heal our Kiri, we need to heal our Bastion. They're the ones who are taking damage right now. Sigma, obviously we could heal him, but he's like pretty good. He's like fine, and then she hasn't started taking damage, but I know in your head you're like, okay, she's really wide peaking this. Luckily, she in theory she'll have dash in like a second, so she can hopefully get out. And it's kind of on her a little bit to also know how to position. So, um, yeah, I think the right choice here is instead of going up here anyway, we need to respond to our Kiri again taking the damage. So to your point, she feels safe. She can engage in the fight. Like you unlock more resources for your team, and you also protect yourself. And then yeah, so I think the actual way that this would play out is, remember you were standing here. I would put my beam on Bastion while I transition through this. Like I'll probably do a little GA here and then quickly cut it off to go over here, and then swap to Kiri and then turn around and see who needs help. Like that's how I would play this out. Does that make sense? And do you understand why I'm saying like I probably wouldn't fly to the Sojourn to begin with?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, unfortunately this happens. I hate when that happens. It feels like we were like doing a mercy parkour, where you have to do some insane tech to like pull
Yeah, where
yourself.
they like you have to crouch GA or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like that like just happened. So, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, learn from mistakes and stuff. I think this was a little bit of just like a weird one, but it can be prevented by what we were just talking about too. Also, cute
Yeah.
skin. I like this one.
Right? It's the best.
Yeah. Do you like the purple one as well, or you prefer
Yeah, I
this
like
one?
the purple one, but I prefer this one. I don't have the purple one also.
Oh yeah, the purple one's like really rare. I think it's the rarest Mercy skin or something like that, if I remember right. Cool. So right here, just something really small, and then actually we should pause in a second and I can write down a lot of these notes for you. But right here, I know you're trying to enable Kiri, but when you hear your, oh wait, I have to go back even further. Okay, when you hear your, and actually wait, I'm sorry, there's two things to talk about here. One is, this is not a Mercy specific tip or anything. This is a how to play Overwatch type of tip. Oh, you know what? I'll say it, but I actually don't know if it applies in this situation. I see that Sigma just died here. I thought maybe you and Kiri just walked up, but just in general.
Yeah, I was trying to help my Sigma,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
he died like before I could even get to him, so.
Yeah, just in general, and again, I don't know if this entirely applies here. But I'm just giving a good tip. A really good thing to learn, no matter what hero you're on, if you're on DPS tank, whatever, and you guys are like losing on defense, Oh, it is really, really important to learn not to die when they're getting close to capping because you're gonna get bad spawned really far back. Because yeah, you'll get spawned in the room like way back here versus like it depends on at what point you die, how many people they have on point, etc. But it really just depends on if they cap before you revive. So if they cap here and then you revive like after the full circle, you'll get put way back here, which staggers
Mhm.
yourself. So a really good thing to be careful of, and um, I think this is kind of like an unclear situation. At some point, you have to figure out like you just being everyone in general. Like so, when you're trying to like retake a point, is it savable? Is it not? This one feels like it was in the middle. Like if Kiri could have Suzu'd him or something and like he lived, this could have been savable. So I
Mhm.
understand why we're here, but I'm just more giving a general tip. Like be if that Sigma wasn't there, for example, like this would be a really dangerous play because you guys could get staggered. So for I won't spend too much time on it. But yeah, just to keep in mind. That was like a tip that I learned really later on, and I think still is something I like have to remind myself. It's kind of an advanced tip, but like at this point right here, for example, like you do not want to die because you will get like super staggered because they're gonna cap for sure before you respawn. So I would just be like super careful here. And also, when you hear Bastion ulting, always try to pocket Bastion ult. I feel like it really, really helps that ult get value because you, by damage boosting, you make it like a lot more scary. The higher rank you get, I think Bastion ult gets like worse and worse because people don't just like stand in it and die. I don't know if people in all ranks just stand in it and die. I don't know, but I would imagine it's just like harder and harder to get value out of Bastional. So the more you can help as Mercy and damage boost it, that's good. So when you hear that sound of like I'm not gonna mimic it, but him like doing some like ambulance noise or whatever, like you
Mhm.
can go over and help. Because Kiri also she's full HP here. Has TP. Like you can a little bit her job to like not just die. So yeah, try to transition back here and pocket this. And this just going back to the very first thing I said, which is like look for every moment possible to like max out damage boost value when you don't need to be healing people, for example. So this is a good example because it would be nice if you could damage boost that all. I don't know where he
Objective
sent it,
lost.
but it just makes it easier.
Stop the payload.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly pause. I know you're not gonna be able to see this, I don't think, but I'm just gonna write down some of the things so I do not forget. So let's get some of this written down. So I would say, what was the very first thing I said? Be like very proactive about uh like pushing up slash like rotating to your teammate who is in a very active spot so you can enable them and like get as much value out of Mercy's hit as possible. So like i.e. like damage boosting their shots, like healing them so they feel safe and can create a little outpost in a way. Um like a lot of Mercy's value, like actually like the like main value proposition for like why you would pick Mercy is that you kind of just like enable targets to be really aggressive and um like yeah, you enable targets to be really aggressive and take space. So yeah, always want to make sure you're doing that. I think you ended up doing it, but I'm just gonna write it down. Um, Second is, let's see, stop, like standing in and rotating through spot, like, let's see how to explain this, through key chokes where you are exposed to the enemy team. Ideally, you want to position in spots where one, like you can access your whole team or your team, and like typically people are good about this, like thinking about where their team is relative to themselves. But you also need to like two um or wait, but also two, like where the enemy doesn't have easy access to you. And this is where people struggle more because it requires thinking in the reverse way. Um like it's, I think it's easier to observe where you are relative to your team because it's like first person, but I think you have to think about it third person for where the enemy can see you, if that makes sense. And I think that's like a harder level of thinking to get to. And so that's like, I think the key here, which is like trying to always keep that in mind. Like, where's the enemy going? How, like, how could they get me here? Like, what heroes are they on? What abilities do I need to watch out for? So stuff like that is gonna really help. Okay, lovely. Um, what's another tip I gave you? So, oh, repositioning. I would say also like, start standing behind natural cover and like cutting off angles. uh the more you cut the angle, the riskier it is for the enemy team to try to aggress on you, as well as the more reaction time you get to avoid them. So yeah, this is all just about, again, like standing in spots where we are cutting off their ability to like easily access us, and like the more it's cut, like standing against the walls for example, like the harder and harder it is for them to get us for multiple reasons. And then the very last thing I would say is like, and again, I think this is just kind of goes back to like my guide. These are like the core principles of mercy, and I think typically when someone is like in like gold or plat, they're not fully doing these at all times, which is makes sense, right? That's like what the VOD review is about today. So, but I think this all gets easier when we are looking around a lot and like keeping an eye on our teammates. So, start um like I would say use like audio cues to get a sense. Use audio and like visual cues to get a sense of when your team is rotating or like taking damage, so you can spin your camera to keep an eye on them and make sure that you heal them and have like options to like rotate out with them if you need to escape, etc. Yeah, I think like all of these other tips are enabled by like a foundation of having a lot of like information as mercy. Um, which requires looking around a lot at your team and the enemy. Well, so that's that. Any questions before we move forward? Because this is, I'm probably going to take like less and less notes as we go through because we're already covering a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't really have many questions, I don't think.
Cool, cool, cool.
The barrier appears.
Heightening your capabilities.
Convene here.
Nice. And this is great. I really like what you're doing right here. This applies on pretty much every map in the entire game, but you always want to take high ground advantage when you can. So I'm really glad you and your Bastion rotated up here. This is like a alongside like looking around at your team. This for any character, this is like the other, I would say, one of the key fundamentals of Overwatch, which is like when possible, either on offense or defense, you want to take the high ground. It just makes your life so much easier. It gives you a lot of benefits, and whoever typically has the high ground wins. Typically, I don't in like high ranks. This is true. In lower ranks, I don't know if it's always true, but it is very important. So, yeah, this is like awesome setup for me here. So awesome job.
Boosting your damage.
Nice. And like, I know this, some people will say this is like boring Mercy gameplay, but this is also on some level like the optimal way to play Mercy a lot of the time. Like, you don't want to see the enemy unless you have to. You want to enable your team from a safe spot. So yeah, great job positioning this fight.
Group up here.
Mastering you.
Unfortunately, and I think it's really easy to do this. I even do this like a lot. But in a perfect world, and you can do this if you're in voice chat with people, but in a perfect world, you guys, I think, go back high ground here. And it's hard to remember this while you're playing the game. But just like following up on what I said before, but in a perfect world, you guys like kind of quickly rotate here and go back up if you can. I know they're almost back, but I think if you guys had started earlier, like being really intentional about rotating up and saying to your friends, hey, like let's go back high ground or something like that could be good. I'm assuming you might be in voice chat with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could be good. And it's just gonna enable, like, again, Bastion to be able to sit here from far away without getting hooked and like just go in his turret form and shoot them, and it's gonna be helpful. May is a little different. May can sometimes stand down here because she wants to like wall off Hog or something. So it's a little different, but I think you and Bastion might want to go up here. So especially if you're doing, you can kind of coordinate a little more. And so try. I am definitely not perfect at this, and I will like end up exactly where you are doing my little super jumps here on stream and whatever. But I think a lot of the time the ideal is like you and the DPS should go back up here and they can peek and you can kind of like hide. And then if you see anyone who's dying, then you can kind of like GA to them, come over and like try to heal them. But this is, yeah, you get what I mean. We're just like giving up high ground here and you're both on the same surface now.
The barrier cannot withstand.
I would Valk here. Yeah, we're at the start of a team fight, so typically, and it might work out. I hate when this stuff happens where it's like, I would Valk here, but actually it's kind of fine that you're not. But, because like, the Hog is just for some reason using his ult like this. This isn't usually a good way to ult on Hog. Because it just like pushes the enemy team away and doesn't do damage. But, in general, like the way you want to use Velk, because this all like the math on it is it's 15 seconds long, which is a very, very long time, like in game. The way you get like max value is you just Velk, put your beam on like Sigma right now, and May's a little too far away right now, but you would get like 3 chain beams and then the beam on Sigma out of it, which is like literally max value, right? That's the max you get. And you just kind of like do that for as much of the team fight as possible to like allow your team to hopefully like snowball or like get into the fight and stay in the fight. But this is like
Yeah.
a weak all, yeah. So that's just what I would say. So typically when this is starting to break out, like I would just Valk because you want to get it off earlier than later. But
Yeah, I definitely like can recognize that I'm not really good at like Valk timings and like using it
yeah,
often. Feel like
mm,
I save it for like I don't even know why.
honestly, these are all just like the core things people typically have problems with. So it's not a you problem. Like I will make this mistake sometimes too. I'll even say it on stream. I'll be like, I should have Valked earlier, like blah, 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 blah. So everyone's dealing with this, but I think a good like heuristic you can use to like know when you want to use your ult on Mercy because Mercy's a little bit more simple than other people's, I would say, is like anytime the team fight is actually starting, so I'm not talking like, I don't know, like, oh no, we see them like starting to walk towards us, like I'm gonna Valk. That's a little too early, but once like people are taking damage and like shit is going down, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm pressing Valk.
Mhm.
So that's like kind of the easiest way. Because a lot of the value is just getting like your team to survive the next 15 seconds. So yeah.
Never die.
Okay, this unfortunately I think is just really bad timing. But one good rule, the only thing I'll say is the only time you probably don't want to Valk is if your support has already they also used their ult. It's a good
Yeah.
rule, just trust me on this. I can maybe like speculate more on why exactly. But it's you typically don't want to use both support ults at the exact same time unless it's like dire situations. Because then like the next like 2 or 3 fights sometimes like your 2 fights you won't have like anything to offset damage and in like a big way. And it just a lot of the time like you don't need both. Like support ults are typically pretty strong, like especially Kiri's ult. And a lot of the time you can just
Mhm.
win the fight with it. So this is kind of like shitty timing because you guys did it. This happens to me a lot, like at the exact same time almost. But if you can, that would be like another time to like, oh, okay, I shouldn't ult unless we really, really need it or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, the rule still applies. I would say just ult whenever stuff's happening.
Heroes never die.
But I think this is like pretty close to being like around the same time.
Freeze! Don't move!
Nice, great job.
I regret that it came to this, Freya.
Yeah, that was very like proactive and smart. You knew she was gonna get frozen, so you're like, let me finally take out my gun when I know she can't move and I can hit her.
It's finally.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're not a moving target. And it's like, okay, I can get some headshots in here. It's not
I'm
impossible.
always waiting
there.
to use my gun.
Yeah. Nice, so that was good. Again here, ideally, and I'm just gonna call it out because, like, I will get roped into doing this too, but when there is downtime here, so let's watch this one more time.
Don't move!
In theory, the most optimal thing to do here is,
I regret that it came
we're
to
done.
this, Freya.
Hey, Bastion, let's go back high ground, okay? Like, right
Yeah.
here, you have this, like, time where nothing's happening, where you guys can both go do, and by the time you get up there, the next fight will be starting. And so, yeah, it would be ideal to, like, rotate up. So, just another thing to keep in mind. And actually, you know what? Let me quickly pause because I don't want to forget. I'm just going to write down the 2 new things I just talked about. So, I would say, like, start. I'll write this down. I won't anchor too much on it because you did use Valk pretty early, but, like, use Valk ASAP when fights start. It's an ult with a very long duration. I think it's 15 seconds, but low like added value relative to all their ults. So like literally on like a mathematical level, like the best way to get a lot of value out of it is to make sure you can have as many like chain beams on people as possible for as long as possible, which leads us to the conclusion of like ulting at the start of a fight. And then I would say like stop. I would say like try to avoid uh double support ulting. Sometimes it's just bad timing. Um but typically you should hold your ult if the other support already used theirs. But obviously, like use best judgment if you're going to lose without ulting, you should. You know what I mean? Um, and then the only thing is, yeah, one more thing, which is like try to like continually retake high ground. Since Mercy doesn't require as much like concentration and like aim as like other heroes, a lot of the time you will have like extra brain space, I guess, like to remember that you should transition back to high ground or reposition. And you can use like voice comms or the like group up slash like fallback comms wheel to like like shot call for your team in a way. So that's the other thing I would say. But cool. Let's keep going. And I know you're like, oh my god, we're only like a third through. But I just trust me, I'm not gonna pause it as much. It's always like a lot of pausing at the start where I notice all the things, and then it's just like, okay, it's this again, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me go back to you. Because we pretty much have like all the core tips down. I know I don't know if this is like helpful or annoying to hear, but I feel like a lot of the time when I do VOD reviews for people who are like mid-rank, it's very similar to the stuff I've written in my guide already, but I think it's super helpful to see how each of these things apply to like you specifically. Like it's like really helpful to
Yeah.
see your own gameplay and be like, I didn't even realize like blah 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 blah, or like I think it's helpful. So maybe you've seen these tips already, but it's still helpful. Here, for example, I won't like take notes or pause too long, but this just goes back to like try to stand in a spot where you can't get grabbed. So that would be, if you are going to stand here, like a really good spot is to hug this wall. Because again, what's the rule? Like I want to access my team without giving access to the enemy team. And there's no easier way to give access to the enemy team than to like sit in a spot where everyone can see you, or they can like poke out of one of these little lanes or whatever and attack you, especially against a hog. So I would say be really, really careful here. I don't know if I went back far enough. Yeah, right here. Danger, danger, danger. Like he can hook you. I don't know why well, I do know why he's this rank, which is why he's not doing this, but he should in theory just be like hooking you and killing you. He shouldn't hook the Bastion because a lot of time Bastion won't like die to Hog. I think because he has got armor and like such a beefy health pool. But in reality, he should try to be hooking like Kiri or you. And you are admittedly very, very out of position here, right? Like you're in a spot where it's easy. Versus, I know it sounds annoying, and I have this happen too, but a lot of the time you don't want to see the enemy team. So, and it's sometimes hard to just be sitting here. But again, I'm giving tips that are like, if you want to rank up. Versus, I know sometimes it might be fun, and I have more fun in theory a lot of the time where I'm like, ooh, I can see the enemy team, I see who's dying, I see what's going on. But unfortunately, it's like on Mercy, you kind of don't want to be doing that. In like an optimal way. Oh my god, this Moira wants you.
Oh, I was screaming in voice. I was like, help me!
Yeah. I would be too. I would be on my end being like, oh my god, my Bastion won't kill her, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I will say, I think this is another example of not knowing what is going on behind you. So right here, your Curie, I don't know how to explain this, but I think this is just a skill people develop the longer they play. You really need to be, how do I put this? It's something about looking around. It's like a product of like looking around will help, but also just like even when you cannot see something on your screen, being able to infer what is happening is like a skill that's really important to develop. So I know Sigma needs help here, but this just goes back to what you were saying before about unlocking healing here and like offsetting what the enemy's doing. The person who's actually the most risk right now, I would say, is Kiriko. But she's not on your screen, so you actually don't know.
Yeah, I was mostly just trying to hide from the Moira because I didn't want to die.
Yeah, no. I totally get it. I think it makes sense. The next like level here, next unlock is like being able to hide while you also like do your job, if that makes sense. And I know on some
Yeah.
level you are doing your job, right? Like you are helping here. This is just I'm going one stage further. Like you are hiding, you are healing someone that needs healing. I think
Mhm.
it's just like the next level here is knowing that if I let this Moira coalescence my Kiriko, actually we lose like we lose a lot of healing that otherwise could go to the Sigma. So it's like I think it's you're and be honest with me here. If you are aware this is happening, that's one thing. I think pretty much always though, this isn't you, it's just everyone doesn't actually realize from the information on their screen that like they need to help their other support. Like right here, I think you're noticing like, okay, Moira's scary and Sigma needs health, but I don't think we have the insight that Moira is scary and killing Kiriko, right? Because Kiriko's not on our screen. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I
Yeah, I
think,
don't remember if I could like hear her dying sounds or not at the time. I probably did and just like didn't register, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah, it's hard. I think it just helps to be like, I guess I haven't really been looking at what your sensitivity is on your beam, or like your field of view, in with the staff out, but I think it's partially. I think it's might also be a product of like sometimes having just a higher sensitivity makes it easier for you to do these like quick little like flick checks on your other support. Because can you imagine? I guess just put yourself in Kiriko's shoes right now. She is probably like, Mercy, please fucking help me. Like, I'm dying. You know what I mean? Like, let's just watch. So she's healing here, and she's just getting fucked, and then she's not getting healed. So she's like, on some level, she's probably also like, you know how like when Moira's chasing you, you're like, oh my god, someone help me. She's like transitioning to being like, oh my god, someone save me from this Moira. Um, that's where this like next level kind of gets unlocked where like you could have probably prevented this, but it takes, and this is where I think a lot of skill in Overwatch is. It's not so much about how you use your hero a lot of the time. Almost all these tips I've given you actually are like hero agnostic, like almost all of these. um like where to position, that's a little bit Mercy specific because it's a little extreme. It's like, okay, hide totally from like everyone. Every other hero has to kind of peek, but in general, all these tips are pretty like much like how do you play Overwatch at the core of like any hero or at least any like support. What do you want to be doing? And Mercy's is just like it takes that to like an extreme where like, okay, I don't want to see the enemy team ever or something like that. But one like really core thing about Overwatch is like understanding what the enemy team is doing, is like trying to do, while also understanding what your team is trying to do and doing some sort of mental math on like, or like maybe like more like mental like prioritization on like, based on all this information I'm collecting and past thousands of games that I've played or whatever, what do I need to do in this moment to get like maximum value? And that's where it like you apply a lot of these foundational tips. But I think I notice for people who are lower to mid rank, it is it often comes in like not fully understanding or templatizing like, okay, if Moira is wide peaking my team right now and she's using her coalescence for some reason, like not like to my left, like, and she's not really hitting these people. Oh, that means like she's probably using it on like the other support who's not on my screen or something like that is like the next level of thinking. And that's going to help you like in so many ways. Like, so I know this is kind of a very ambiguous thing I'm saying, but yeah, on some level, we have to be recognizing that when Moira is turning this corner and she is taking the coalescence off me and it's not, and it's like hitting behind us. I know it's hard to tell. I guess it is kind of hard to tell in the moment, but when you see the beam is like over here, like you should be like, oh shit, like my Kiriko is getting like screwed. And
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
just
that's
hard.
fair, but like at the point that I would have noticed that she's not going for my bastion, like my Kiriko's at literally 1 HP.
Yeah, it's hard. I
So,
think it just helps if you are just constantly turning, though. So it's a
mhm,
product of like all these things. I'm with you. I think it is kind of hard to tell, but I think it's also important on Mercy. You want to like pretty much always be like keeping an eye on everyone, and this is why having like kind of a higher sensitivity. I'm not talking like some insane thing where like you move your mouse a millimeter and you did like a 360-degree turn. Like
yeah.
you don't need that. But I think it's like if you can like check in on everyone constantly, it really really does help because it adds information when you can't like always collect it. So, anyways, I guess what I'm saying here is I do think this is on you, but it takes doing a lot of these things correctly at the same time to recognize in time that like you need to do that to like swap your beam
Mhm.
here. So, I guess I'm acknowledging like I get why you're doing what you're doing, but at the same time, if you want to be like diamond masters, whatever, like you need to be able to recognize that like or like keep an eye on your Kiriko because I think maybe
Mhm.
this is maybe like the third time where I think you have not been able to like fully recognize that like she needs to be healed in like a fast amount of like quickly, and just doing that is really really going to help. So that's why I say I think the number one thing I recommend for people um to make all of these other things easier. Like all of these other things get better and simpler and it just all like kind of comes together is when you just turn your field of view frequently to keep an eye on your team. So yeah, I'm just that's my main takeaway
Freeze!
for like future. Oh,
Damage
uh-oh.
Bring your
more than usual. Just what I hoped for.
actuating
Okay,
the barrier.
cool.
Hands ahead. My ultimate is almost ready. Much better. My ultimate is ready.
Is that
Oh no. It's like I don't want to overload you with stuff because this is also something I don't even do. But I will do it if I'm feeling like talking that day or whatever. But when the point is it's good to figure out when the point is like so beyond lost that like you can't touch again, and then you can like help your team sometimes in voice. I know I don't think you're in group with the Sigma, but if you're in like the team chat, you can say, "Oh, okay, let's just regroup. Like, let's give it up or whatever," because that prevents him from
Yeah.
like wasting his ult. But again,
Heroes never die.
I don't know. It's not always like sometimes I don't want to talk, or sometimes I don't expect people to do stuff like that. So nice, good job. Do you have any questions that like I haven't talked about so far? I want to make sure if there's anything you're curious about, we can get to that too.
Um, not really. I
Okay.
just like wanted to, yeah, like get advice on how to rank up, I guess, because I find it like really difficult, especially like when I'm not in a group with people to like rank up and win games and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. And all of these tips are gonna really, really help. A lot of these things are like some of them are like protecting yourself. Some of them are like how you can protect others. And then some of them are like how you can be the little ringleader and like keep everyone from falling apart and like communicate. I think there's like 3 different kinds of things, and all these are going to be super helpful for when you solo queue too. So yeah, cool. And if anything, like I said always, if anything comes up, just jump in and ask me anything. Or like, or if, for example, on the last one where you're like, well, I feel like it's like really hard for me to notice that, or like blah 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 blah. Like that's super helpful to hear, because then I can kind of talk more about how I feel, or like explain a little more. So yeah, cool. Is there Genji throwing? Like, what is happening?
Oh
He's
yeah, he
just...
left at some point.
Oh, he just left. I was like, where did he go? I saw him sitting on this jail, because I'm like, who is over here? And then he just left? Was he... What is happening here? Why is he doing that?
Probably like disconnected or something. That was what I assumed.
Oh yeah, he's like looking down. Yeah, he's like lagging or something. Or maybe he's like tilted. I don't know. Maybe his team's being mean. I don't know. But I'm guessing he's lagging.
What is that syzygy?
Let me take a look.
Oh wow, your Sigma rebuilt that ult really fast. He built that over just one fight, I think. Because remember, he wasted it the prior fight.
Yeah.
Freeze! Don't move! Let the Kitsune guide you!
The barrier appeared.
You're being fine.
Just watching. And it's good you took Flash Heal and the movement perk. Those are the ones I think are the best. Well, sorry, I know Flash Heal's the best. I still think the movement one's the best because it allows you to do a lot of... It, like, I think it increases your output in a lot of ways. Like, you can help more people and fly to them more quickly and stuff like that. Which I think really helps. But some people, every so often, I think they do take the res one, but I think it's worse.
Yeah, I just found that I didn't have to really res anybody. I just like either died before everybody else died, or that was it. So like I was like, well, the movement one's gonna be a lot better.
Stay inside.
Yeah, I think just
And
as
I'll
a
keep you
default, I pretty much always take the movement one. It's really helpful for something I do as well, which maybe you'd be interested in, but a lot of the time it can be... This is like, you gotta be careful though with how you do this. I noticed you like to do like super jumps in place, and then you'll let go of the slow fall key or whatever, the angelic descent key. I think it's
Yeah.
spacebar as well. I can't... Sometimes I like can't remember. Like my hands know what they're doing, but my brain, like I forget what keys I'm pressing. But yeah. After you super jump, you like hold space to fall slowly. Assuming you're on PC, I can't remember. But
Yeah.
yeah, it can be good if you want to chain the super jumps to fully like permanently sit in the air, where you'll just like essentially like fly to a target, super jump, wait, like you'll go like up like this, and then you'll start falling down slowly, and then you fly to the target, super jump, start falling down slowly. The movement perk also makes it like easier to do that too, because you like get more height and you can... Yeah, I don't know how to explain, but it just makes it... Yeah, you get more height on your super jumps, so then it's easier to chain them in the air. In case that's something that's interesting, you can like permanently stay in the air even when you're not in Valk, which is nice sometimes. You gotta be careful with how you position it, right? Like you don't want to do it in front of Hog, for example.
Attackers
Yeah.
incoming. Defend objective A.
Cool.
Let's keep
Okay, I
each
mean...
other safe.
Oh, okay, they are back now. If I were your team, I would say something like, go fast, Ramatra, because they're like down someone right now. So like, right, we don't need to do this little dance. Like you basically already have a pick. Oh shit. Okay.
Die Macht der Zusammenarbeit.
Nice, good res. Big. Res on tank is like fight winning, so big. If I were you, and I don't know if you see it or not, but I sometimes will like ping. I don't know if I can see who's pinging things, but just as a general tip, if you see the trap, I try to ping it for my team, because they're like way more focused on what's going on in the game, because they literally have to like aim and they like tunnel vision on like who they're shooting and all that stuff. It can be helpful to ping that. Nice. But I mean, yeah, it really helps that they had a lever to start that off, I think.
Yeah.
Continuing damage increase. I am empowering you. Enemy in sight.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
I am here to support.
Oh, nice. I think you're chaining them. Oh, wait. Never mind. I think you kind of were doing it there, which is what I was just talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So they got Maga now. Nice. I was about to say swap your beam to Bastion, but you did before I could even say it, so that was good. Nice. Yeah, your team is kind of rolling right now.
Execute them all. Our work is not done.
I want to see this again.
Execute them all.
I think this is kind of what I'm talking about. I think we are a little bit slow when they're not like directly in the middle of our screen, or they're maybe not the person we're super focused on right now. Like you're like, okay, I'm healing Bastion. I'm not sure where this is like breaking down always, but what needs to happen here is we need to see that like, oh, Widow is dying and Bastion is in a safer spot, and we need to swap this beam on her right now. You can see her through the wall. If she's like yellow and you know Moira's taking damage, ideally we're doing like a quick little, because imagine your cursor's right here. Ideally we're doing like a quick little flick, because now that you can see her, you can get the beam on, and that's really going to prevent her from dying here. But instead we are not responding. I think it's because she might be like on the edge of your screen. I noticed this a lot. It's not just you. It's like, I think it's like pretty much everyone I ever VOD review who's like plat, gold. This is like, how do I say? Just to be like very straightforward, this is like 100% like a death that you should be preventing by getting the beam on much more quickly. And I think it all is coming back to like the core, wait, not like symptom. The symptom is like people around you are dying without like getting healed. And the like problem that is causing this, I think, is a combination of like not looking around enough to see like what's happening, and like recognizing that someone's dying. Might also be a combo of like not fully hearing like or processing like you're hearing the audio cues that like Moira is sucking someone like on top of the roof. And then also a combo of like just not quite being like super proactive yet about figuring out like who like absolutely needs help right now, and getting a little bit like complacent with like healing like the Bastion, because he did need healing, but not realizing this was like a higher priority. So I think it's some sort of combo of those three, but typically I'll see a lot of the time when someone's letting someone else die, it's because they didn't fully have that information in the center of their screen. Hence why I'm saying try to like really look around a lot and like, okay, I see 3 people on my screen. Where's my Widow? And then I'll like look and I'll be like, oh my god, she's dying to Moira. Like, let me swap my beam. So that's like an easy way to resolve that. But we can keep going. But just calling out, this is maybe like 3rd or 4th time this has happened. But again, it's not you. It's literally everyone I VOD review. I promise. It's just happening all the time. Right here, I would just Vel.
Heroes never die. Come to me for healing.
Oh my god, this Moira is like evil.
Helden sterben nicht. I am fully focus.
Our enemies approach.
Sorry, I just want to see. Okay, so I think I know what's happening here. I used to do this. This is kind of a recent change. So you got your perk. It like unlocked a little bit ago, but you hadn't selected it yet. And I was like wondering, oh, why hasn't she selected it? And it's because, and I was running into this exact problem myself. You have to like take your beam off them to like select it, right?
Yeah.
It's super annoying. So what I did, because I always pick the same ones on Mercy as of right now. I know there's like a new patch coming out, and I don't know if she's getting new perks. I can't remember, but as of right now, I use the same ones. Sorry, how do I? Oh, here. There's a way you can. I'm sorry, I don't know where it is, but there's a setting where you can change the selection. Let me see. Where's the perk one? Toggle perk select. Okay, so instead of that one, I have it on quick select the second one because mercies are both on the right sides. They're both like number 2. So you can put a button. So instead of it being, I think it was maybe, do you know what the perk button is that you press like when you toggle it and then you can choose?
Alt.
Okay, yeah. So I changed that. So I moved it from toggle, where it gives you both options, to I know only for Mercy. Like I have it on Mercy specifically, an override, where it allows me to always select the second one. So when I get it now, I can immediately get the perk. And I actually think it's so helpful because there was times where I would be like, oh my God, I can't pick my perk because like the person I have my beam on is literally dying. Like if I take my beam off them, they're gonna die. Or like, or at least I won't be
Yeah, I
healing.
have that issue with like selecting flash heal in particular. I'm like, I need flash heal right now, but if I take my beam off, they're gonna die, but I want flash heal to save them. I
Right.
don't know what to do.
No, I totally agree. So I think the fix is, at least for now, like I don't know if they're gonna change her perks, but in the next few days, since this is being recorded or whatever, um, like you can, if you know you're always picking the ones on certain sides, or even maybe say if there's a world where like you maybe want to pick one that's on the left side and one that's on the right side, but you want to be able to do it with your beam, you can just assign like a different key, and it is really helpful. So since I always 100% of the time take the movement one, which is on the right side, and the flash shield, which is on the right side, I don't need this like toggling. Like I don't even want the option to accidentally pick the other one. I don't know if this ever happens to you. Sometimes I would actually pick the other one because someone needs healing. Like do you know what I'm talking about? Like someone needs healing. I'm nervous to pick the perk because I want to pick flash heal, but that requires clicking the like damage boost button. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But they need healing so desperately. I try to do it so fast and I accidentally pick chain boost because I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to like do the like toggle picking. I press like I thought I pressed the right side to like pick flash heal, but actually I was just trying to heal as soon as possible and I accidentally pick chain boost. And I'm like, "Oh my God, like I did this whole sequence so fast just to like make that not happen, but I rushed it and I did it wrong." So, I really highly recommend maybe just putting this key on perk quick select 2. If you
Yep.
know you always like movement, yeah, that would just be my takeaway. It actually has been such like a nice quality of life change because like I was like I saw exactly what happened where you don't have your perk. Bastion's dying. You're like I don't want to let him die, and then here you quickly take it off, pick the perk, and then put it back on. So yeah, it actually I think really helps, especially with flash shield. To your point, like then it's like okay, I can have flash shield when I need it.
Let the kitsune guide you.
One small tip, when this is just like a specifically to Curie's ult, but if you stand in it, I don't know if you know this or not, but it actually increases your heals. So if you can get in Curie ult for at least a little bit, it'll increase your healing. Okay, and then right there, I don't know if you saw it or not, but it might be good to ping the trap again,
I
or
had no idea that was there.
oh, you had no idea. You know, it's okay. I think
No idea.
yeah. I was like, it's like right in front of your face. I was nervous you're gonna stand in it. Yeah, it's like right there. Sometimes the Junkrats, they'll pick skins that like hide it more. Like some of the Junkrat skins are a
Yeah, but
little
that
bit.
just looks like it's the map.
Yeah, right. It kind of looks like, you know how there's like these cacti or whatever here. Like this
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of looks just like we're in a desert or something. I don't know. Or like we're in like
Just
a
like
wild
trash on the
west.
ground or something.
Yeah,
Like, it's
right.
just like there.
Right.
Doesn't
It's
look
hard to
like it's
see. I
gonna do anything to me, but it will trap me and I will die.
Yeah, I mean, I just think this comes with like playing the game more, like noticing when there's a trap. But if you are playing against a Junkrat, something I would keep in mind, like similar to how if you're playing against like Hog, I'll be like, where's the trap? Like I'll try to look out, and it can be helpful. This is all coming from again, like Mercy. I think we can all agree, like, it's not as difficult as something like Ash to play. And so
Yeah.
it can be useful to like really be like the mother hen of the team and like try to ping the trap, even if you can't shoot it. Like try to communicate these like extra little value adds as much as possible. And then like that maybe prevents Bastion from standing in it and blowing up the next fight or whatever. So sometimes little tiny things like that can really help. Or if no one needs help, I'll just swap to my gun, shoot it like I forget if you need to shoot it 5 times or whatever, but you'll learn like exactly how many times you need to shoot it, and then you can swap back. And it happens pretty fast, so it's not a big deal, and it just eliminates anyone touching it. So I'll sometimes do that on Mercy. Like same thing with like sim turrets. Like sometimes I'll shoot those too. Or even like this is more rare, but sometimes I'll shoot the Torb turret. But that one's kind of hard because you don't do any damage and it'll shoot you back. But yeah. Okay, cool.
Enhancing your strength.
Okay, nice. Love that. Love that. Great job. I love how you're playing. Let me just say, I love how you're playing on the high ground right here. It is really tempting, I feel like, for a lot of people to just like, I don't know, sit here and get blown up, I guess, by Junkrat. But yeah, the Mercy really gets a lot of advantage from just repositioning to high ground. So I highly recommend it, and I think it's great you're doing that. I would Vel. This is the last fight before you cap. And you don't want to lose, but at this point you don't need to. I know it's gonna be like, I didn't need to Valk, but I think when it's getting a little hairy like this, it's worth doing. Oops, sorry, right here. So when you're like, right when Moira starts sucking you here, let's watch this one more time. I'll tell you exactly where I would have Valk. So right now it is a 4v2? 4v... I actually don't know. Okay, it's whatever. Either way, this is more to my point. I actually don't know like what is going on because there's a lot of people going in and out of the fight. I can't tell how far we are ahead. Like if we're far enough where I don't need to use my ult, or if it's like a 3v2 and if I die to this Moira, like we're gonna lose the fight. But right here, where she starts sucking you and you just got hit by a Junkrat, I would highly recommend just ult. The reason is, and this is like another core, no matter what hero you're on, this is good to learn. It's all about this bar at the top here. So you have 3 minutes left, and you are close to capping and getting to the checkpoint, which will give you more time. So what this tells me is that I want to really secure this checkpoint. If it's just a 4v2 and you're not dying to Moira, there may be like over here and Rams killing both of them or something. Like say they're both standing there. At that point, I don't think you need to Velk, but because you are dying in the fight, who knows, like maybe they're able to swing this round. The reality is they're both very close to ult, right? They have Blade and Cole coming up. If you had died here, which was actually very real, like you almost just died, there is a very real chance your team loses to this, or they like stall this out long enough for like Maga to run back and touch. Like I'm just saying there is a world where this happens and you
Mhm.
guys get stuck 2 meters before the checkpoint with like 3 minutes left. There's no worse situation than that happening versus um if you had just ulted and secured the fight, and then you'll have like 4.5 minutes or something to go like, I don't know, from right here to like, I think you literally just need to go to right here. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there is a very big difference, right? Like you get what I'm saying on like if you cap or not.
Yeah, I
Um
think that I just like I
yeah.
see Mercy's ult as a lot more scarce of a resource than it actually is. So I'm like less willing to like use it as like much as I should just because I'm like, well, what if I need it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I see that.
like what you're saying is like, yeah, like I don't really need to save my ult because even if I did like ult here and like it does nothing, I have enough time to rebuild another one if I really need to build another one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So even if you ult here and it does nothing, you have a ton of time. And it like maybe kind of secures the fight. But I think I'm gonna even build on that, go one step further. I think you like need to ult this. Like I think it's like it's not so much like, oh, like if I ult and it does nothing, blah blah blah. I think you like fully almost in a respectful way, because I literally did this yesterday on stream when I was playing Brig. I like didn't ult and we got held at this point with like 1 meter left, and then we weren't able to come back over the next 3 minutes and cap. Like this is fully potentially like you could lose the game here, like if you don't
Mhm.
ult and secure the fight. So I think it's like yes to what you're saying, totally agree. But even a step further, I think you like it's not just like, oh, I maybe could ult. It's like I think you definitely need to ult, and it needs to happen when this Moira is sucking you right here. Let me show you.
Yeah. Because another thing that I'll do is I'll like try and position somewhere where I can safely ult so I know I don't die when I do it.
Mm,
Because that was like another thing that I like thought about when you said that is like, well, if that, if I get hit a second time, then like I'm dead, pretty much. Like if that Genji had like dashed into me, which why would he? Because that would go across my entire team. But like if he like found a way to like dash into me or something, then like I'm dead there and I just like wasted my ult entirely. That's
yeah.
like my thought process of it.
Yeah, 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 that makes sense. And I actually really understand what you're saying. I think that makes a lot of sense. And you don't want to like use Valk and immediately die or like get killed while you're using it. You know what I'm talking about? I totally get that.
Yeah.
I think not so much thinking about this particular situation. The and sorry, yeah, that can be true. I think what also is true, and sometimes you kind of have to just like there two things can be true at the same time. Like one, we don't want to alt and die. I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
I think also though, just a general principle, because like this is in the past, like just think about for the future. It's also just like understanding the dynamic of the game, which you can collect all the information you need here. Like, are we close to the checkpoint? How much time do we have left? And it's a combo of these three things. Yeah, like where is the cart relative to the checkpoint? So in this instance, super close. How much time do we have left? Tons of time. How far do we have to go afterwards? Not far at all. And how is the fight playing out? And this I think is close enough where I would just use it. This is
Mhm.
all pointing to like yeah, like just use the alt as soon as possible. Like even if you were full HP, I might alt right here, okay? Like I think it's
Yeah.
worth it. Um so that just separating the like being nervous about dying thing, I think really it's gonna help you a lot, a lot, a lot know when to alt. Versus let me give you a different scenario. Say you are I'll give you a couple. Say you're close to capping, right? The cart's close to capping, but you only have like 30 seconds left here and you're full HP. Say the Moira's not getting you. I would probably hold my ult, okay? Because
Mhm.
you're probably only gonna get like one or two more fights here. Um, and you want to make sure you got your ult ready for that extra oomph to like get you guys over the line. Or say you're on like overtime right now, then you got to be a little bit more picky and choosy about how you want to use your ult, right? Because like we're in more dire circumstances, and like sometimes you're not thinking only about if I win this fight. It's like about like okay, I need to save resources for the next fight or whatever. So it gets like more complicated, but I guess what I'm saying is there's 4 things pointing to like, okay, use your ult here because you're gonna have a ton of time to get it back. It would really suck to get held here, and not get the checkpoint because you only have a little bit further to go. And like, I'm gonna be honest, this is like still a little bit of a hairy fight. Like the Moira's killing you, so all that together should use ult. And this is a general thing around like, to your point, the very first thing you said was like, I think of Mercy's thing as a scarce resource when it's not. And I cannot agree more. Velk gets built really quickly, and it's also, to be honest, like kind of not super, super useful. It's just
Mhm.
nice to buy your team like 15 seconds of just like, here's an extra little stimulant of like either damage or healing, and I also get to live the entire time. Like it's just kind of that. It's not like beat where or Lucio's ult where it's like everyone is like invulnerable for the next 5 seconds. It's not to that level.
Mhm.
So just kind of use it whenever, and I would typically not use it sparingly, um, especially in these circumstances. So that's just that. Ends up working out for you guys though. Or I think it does. Yeah, yeah. Nice.
The payload has reached the check.
I was a little nervous because Genji was getting close to ult, so cool.
Heroes never die. Get in there, Bob.
One thing really quick against Tyre, and this ult is kind of hard to avoid on Mercy, but it's easier when you're in ult. Stay away from like walls, because this shit will like climb the wall and like get you when you're flying too. So right here when I hear him ulting. Oh wait, I think I went not far back enough. Okay, I hear the Tyre, right? We're hearing it coming. I see it. He's doing the speed up thing. But even when you hear him ulting, I will typically do this because the more you rank up, and I'm sure you'll start ranking up even more, but the better you rank, or like, sorry, the better rank you get, the smarter everyone is, right? And the Junkrats get smarter too. They will like typically hard target Mercy because otherwise, if you imagine if they kill Ashe here, Mercy just reses Ashe and they just like lose their ult. So they're incentivized to like go for Mercy. So even when you're in Velk, I know it sounds like hard. Like how are they gonna get that Tyre up to me? But these people, they're like smart. They like I always say Junkrat players have like the most evil, devious brains because they like use like the wall and then they'll have the Tyre fall on your head or whatever. So you gotta be really
Yeah.
careful. So when I hear him ulting, like he just did the animation, I will like go out of my way to like stay away from a wall. I think you're like a little too close right here. Let me show you. So if he climbs this, this is a good moment to stop. If he climbs this and goes up, you actually will definitely die. See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like, so try to go a little bit more. Like, I know it sounds weird, but just try to like move away from the wall here and like kind of get away. Like your biggest threat is this. And ideally he pops it on the Bastion, which I think he does. He doesn't die though. I think because he picked that perk where it goes faster, it does less damage or something. But yeah, just be careful because there is a world where like they will get better and he'll climb it up here and blow you up. So just food for thought. Cool.
It's good to work with capable allies.
I'm sorry, I know this is small again, but I don't know if you saw, and this is again like an information thing. I think because it wasn't on your screen anymore, you didn't know it happened, and it doesn't change the outcome. You guys are gonna win this pretty much no matter what. But I'm just calling it out so you see what happened. But right before you moved forward and lost vision of your team, the Bastion gets hit with a combo from the Junkrat. So I'm gonna show you right here. He is like really low, but you don't know. I can tell. Like, and it's okay because it's again just the same principle we're talking about. But he is low, and because Kiri and Mercy are looking forward in front of him, and there's no like. This is the like type of shit I want to see, like, or like hopefully you can start doing more on Mercy, is like looking around, and on some level knowing things are happening without visually seeing the information. Like, you will get a lot better when you can process, like, okay, Junkrat just hit Bastion with the combo, even though it wasn't like spoon fed to me in front of my face. Like, watch, like right there, it kind of was, but it happened really quickly where maybe you didn't notice, because Overwatch just has tons of shit happening, you know what I'm talking about. But
It's
Yeah.
good to work
But
with
I think
capable allies.
being able to know, like, okay, Bastion just took a lot of damage. I shouldn't be damage boosting Bob here, and I need to move my camera around. Because right now, I'm just, this is, I'm glad this is the last thing happening in the game, because I really want to, like, say, I think this is, like, probably the number one thing that's going to help you do everything else I'm talking about, is trying to look around more, because we have 3 people on our team, or on in front of us, but where's Bastion? He is crying behind us with 1 health, being sucked by Moira, right? So yeah, it just goes to show, like, this is actually the perfect ending for this, because this is like exactly what I want you to take away. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And he actually dies, and now you noticed, but yeah, so this is a really good ending. And then Moira's doing some sort of weird thing with her model. Oh, wait, no, she's not. Okay, I thought she was like, sometimes they'll like stretch their stomachs a lot. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Like, their stomachs will stretch out in the replay viewer. It looks kind of funny.
The
But
replay viewer can be really funny sometimes with the way that it looks.
right, yeah. So I thought she was doing one of those, but I think it just was her mythic skin. Nice, you guys end up winning, so that's good. Okay, I have just 1 or 2 more notes. Do you have any questions for me while I just write down the last couple stuff I want to write?
Yeah, I don't think I have any other questions other than just like the stuff that I brought up about like how to rank up, but I think that you answered that pretty well.
Cool. And I think this was like, I'll just be honest. I think there are some gameplay reviews where I feel like not a lot happened that game, or like there weren't a lot of mistakes. It's hard for me to like speak on, or like give more than 1 or 2 real good tips. I think this was a really good game, and I know you were maybe a little nervous before because you guys won. I typically will ask for like close losses, because I think those are the ones where I can point to, like, you lost this game because you did this wrong in this fight, and like it totally would change the outcome. I know this was a win, but I think there were still like so many like good moments where I can show you helpful stuff. So I'm really glad about how this one worked. Um, the only other tip I'm gonna add to your note sheet, I know you can't see it right now, but it's uh for Mercy, if you are like aligned with always taking the movement and flash heal perks, which are both on the right side of the selection, you can update your settings to always take perk 2 on Mercy specifically, and you can select perks, you can select your perks, 1 like immediately, and 2 without removing your beam, which is a nice quality of life change. So yeah, I would recommend doing that. That was like, honestly, it makes my life so much better. I hated ever picking my perks on Mercy before that, because it was like, and I think I didn't realize just how annoying it was. Like, I kind of knew, but like now that I have this fix, it is life changing. It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about picking my perks. I just always pick this button. I
Yeah.
always get my perk immediately. It's
Well, it
so easy.
reminds me of how like Mercy's ult used to like cut off her beam when you casted it.
Yes,
And like
exactly.
it was like, well, what am I supposed to? I'm trying to ult to save my team, but I have to disconnect my beam to save my team. Like this doesn't make sense.
That is such a good point. I forgot about that. But yeah, you're so right. That's exactly the same concept here. It's like, yeah, you would have to like judge when am I safe to Valk? Now it's always safe. You can just use it whenever. So that was a nice quality of life change. This is the one you can make for yourself too, so that's good. I'm gonna say, and I try to put things in bold on the notes sheet, of like the things I really think you should focus on. Um, my like number one tip I think is try to like it's the use audio and visual cues to get a sense of when your team is rotating or taking damage, so you can spin your camera to keep an eye on them and make sure you heal them. I think that's like
Mhm.
the number one thing. It happened maybe 4 or 5 times in this game, and if you can imagine, and I don't know. I maybe this is shocking. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe you'll just be like, I already know this happens. But if you can imagine, if that happens every single game that you play, I maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But let's just assume it does, because this was a win for
Mhm.
you guys. Like, assume it's happening in the losses too. Think just how many of those losses could be prevented if you could like heal your Bastion in that last fight. I know you guys won, but like heal, like prevent his
Mhm.
death, prevent your Kiriko a couple of her deaths, prevent that widow's death, then you don't have to res. You can save your res for someone else. Like imagine how all of that just like snowballs. Like you are definitely gonna climb more if you can just like use audio and visual cues to get a sense of when other people are taking damage, even if they're not like in the center of your screen, and spin your
Mhm.
camera to keep an eye on them. Like just trust me, you're gonna rank up. And it might not be you're gonna prevent everyone's death immediately, every single time, like moving forward from now, every time in the future. Like no, it's just practice though. Like really, really try to get in the habit. Spin your camera a little bit more. When you have a little downtime, try to turn your camera and just use the heads up indicator a little bit to keep an eye on like your beam target, just for that like
Mhm.
second where you're spinning it. And you are going to do all of this other stuff way better too. So that's like my main thing I think you need to try to do a little bit more. And then I would also try to Velk like ASAP when the fight starts a little bit more often. I think that's a really helpful change, because it helps you survive more and it also helps your entire team get into the fight better and maxes the value on the ult. And then I
Yeah.
think also stand behind natural cover and cut off angles. That's really important. Would love to see you do that a little bit more. And then I think everything else is pretty good. Um, I think also the other thing is just like position in spots where you can access your team, and then but also where the enemy team doesn't have access to you is going to be helpful too. So I bolded everything. I'll send you the note sheet. Do you have any last questions for me?
No, thank you. This was actually really helpful. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for supporting me and buying the gameplay review. And if you have
Yep.
any follow-ups, always feel free to ping me. Um and also I just wanted to double check with you. I know you marked it as okay. Are you okay if I upload this one to YouTube? I think this one's like incredible for it, but I want to respect
Yeah.
your okay. I think a lot of people are gonna really benefit from this, not just you. I think, but not in the same way that you will. Like, I
Mhm.
think there's like something about having your own gameplay reviewed and being like, oh my god, like this is me making this mistake and like whatever. Really, really helps.
Yeah.
You can watch as many videos as you want. You can listen to people say, oh yeah, like use Velk as soon as possible, but it hits so different, I think, when it's like, oh yeah, I held this Velk like way too long, or like I
Yeah.
like just let my Bastion die. Like it hits different. So, anyways,
Yeah, because like I think
yeah.
that I'm applying a lot of these things, and like to a certain extent that I am, but I also am not, and like especially in like important parts where it matters, I'm not. So like, just working on being more consistent with that, because like yeah, I've like heard pretty much every Mercy advice in the book ever, but like having it like actually like applied to my gameplay in particular is really helpful.
Yeah, of course. I completely agree with you, and that's why I think gameplay reviews are super helpful. So I just want to say thank you again for buying it. And yeah, if you have any questions, like I said, always feel free to message me, and I will edit the video, post it soon, and I will send you the note sheet that you can have right now. And
Awesome.
yeah, you can always
Yeah.
access it. Thank you again so much.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, have a
Okay.
nice day.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Hi everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching. I think that was a really great gameplay review that I got to do with Ruby. I honestly think this was one of the meatiest and like most helpful ones I've been able to do, where there were a lot of like moments where like I was saying, you could very clearly see that something was going wrong and like identify it and be very specific and like chat with her live around um her thoughts too, so that it's not, she can also like live engage and say, well, I don't know how I can react that fast, and then I can like give some more context on what she could do better. I think that was really, really helpful. So yeah, I'm really happy about how this one went. I'm always happy about how they all go, but I think this one was like really filled with like juicy good tips and a lot of moments where she could do better. And I suspect Ruby will be ranking up a lot soon because I think these are really good learnings to have. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you ever want to get a gameplay review from me, I will link this in the bio, and I might even put like a little card on the video. Um, I have a paid process, which is what Ruby did, where she went to my coffee here and she purchased a gameplay review. It starts at $20. You can upgrade to a live one, which is what she did. And you can even purchase a package, and these like double stack. So you can get like 3 live ones for extra. So it's like a discount too. So like even if you don't want the live ones, it's still a discount. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. And then also make sure to check out my Twitch stream. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you can check out some other educational videos on YouTube as well. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.